It's Cat, and it's Woof, and they talk. It's Cat and Woof talk, Cat and Woof talk, Cat and Woof.
Hello, welcome back. This is
Cat.
And I'm Woof, and we are back again to talk about another episode of Fallout. This one is episode 4,
The Ghouls.
The Ghouls. And in this episode, we're learning a lot more about how Fallout talks about ghouls and what ghouls are.
At least in this
universe.
concept, yeah.
Right, because it's gone through some iterations with the various games and whatnot. So, do you want to tell us about how ghouls are defined
Which
in
Fallout?
In this Fallout.
In this Fallout, they're basically, they interchange in between like zombie-esque, which is normal ghouls, and the main character who is basically
It's like a mutant would normally.
be, yes. Well, in Fallout, they're taking from the Fallout New Vegas, actually, which is weird because it's more of a Fallout 1 type of universe, which ghouls in there are just zombies. There's no reanimated thing until like 2.
So you're saying that most of the show feels like it's from Fallout 1.
Exactly. Most of the show, it seems like it's pulling from Fallout, the first one, with some New Vegas weird things that New Vegas does, which is cool, but also confuses the hell out of, Fallout in general.
You feel like it sort of confuses how certain things are supposed to work.
Yeah.
And like what they've done is they've kind of come up with their own explanation of ghouls and mutants and how they're kind of the same thing in this universe.
Yeah.
And it's just the medicine keeping
him from becoming a ghoul.
Right.
But they also call him a ghoul anyways, even though he's not. He's a mutant. So their aspect of ghouls is actually mutants, but then they turn into ghouls also by, not taking the medicine, which you do see in this episode. Like they explain it.
Right. So this is where a lot of that is explained in this universe.
But they also call him a ghoul instead of a mutant. So it's really weird.
So in this episode, we're seeing a lot of the lead character. What's her name?
Lucy,
yeah. A lot of Lucy's journey through
the Fallout landscape.
And through that, we see her sort of developing a sense of the outside world and where she's going to fit in with it and how far she's going to go in which direction. Like the main villain character, I guess you would call him.
The mutant, yeah.
Is trying to argue that, well, when enough time passes, she'll be just like him.
Yeah.
But by the end of the episode, we do see some evidence that maybe she is unwilling, at least at this point, to abandon the principles that she already has, and that she might hold out and hold on to some of her humanity throughout this journey into the hellish upper world.
Also, I will note that they did make a reference to, I want to say Fallout 3, but he might have been in Fallout 2 as well. Mr. Handy right here. Mr. Helper, Mr. Handy.
Right, so that was the main thrust of this episode, is that the mutant is trying to get rid of Lucy and trade her for medicine that he is planning on getting from the people who...
the outlaws, basically. The outlaws, because they sell the organs.
Right, the outlaws who are selling the organs and who sort of control Mr. Handy. And we meet Mr. Handy. He's a very fun character, very chipper.
He's always great.
happy,
Unless you're playing the game.
murderer.
Yeah, you don't want to be Mr. Handy in the game, but here he's cool.
Here he's very fun. I will say it feels like Lucy sort of makes very quick work of Mr. Handy.
Well, he's not a boss, but Mr. Handy is a reference. I'm not sure if it's Fallout 2 or Fallout 3, but I know he's not in Vegas and he's not in 1. Mr. Handy is basically the person that kills you in the games. Not like, he's like
So when you
that
lose
death
the
screen.
game,
Yeah, he's the
you
death
go
screen.
to
You go to Mr. Handy.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense because he's not particularly combat equipped in this. He's very easily sort of overpowered by Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
It felt a little bit anticlimactic, and I feel like not anticlimactic necessarily, but my main issue I feel like with the show so far has been the tone. I feel like everything sort of blends together and everything has to kind of be funny and low stakes.
Which is not at all the games. The games are super high
Super
stakes.
dark.
It's super high stakes, super dark. Like you see, there's a reference, but they don't make it in here, to a ghoul being tied up and basically held there and being like, sorry, not ghoul. I'm confusing it with this universe. A mutant being tied up and stayed there and held there and kind of like, you're going to tell us where everything is, or basically you're going to turn quote unquote into a ghoul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's a lot of moments in this show where I feel like they needed to go darker and go more serious.
There's also a lot more death in the game than this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like, and I don't think that this is just a thing with Fallout. I feel like a lot of new media now is very
anti-death.
Well, not anti-death, just low stakes.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel as captivating because it's not willing to be stressful or to cause the audience any sort of heartburn.
Yeah.
A lot of this feels kind of just like smoothed over. Like there are some chances to do some really like weird and off-putting things. Like back in the shelter, we see one of our main characters is comforting a woman who just lost her husband.
Oh yeah.
And she's having him.
It's like her cousin.
Put on the outfit of her husband and
calls him by his name
and it's sort of played too jokey, too funny, and it sort of undercuts the weirdness and the disturbing nature of what's going on. And I get that it's trying to be subversive. It's trying to undercut how dark it is and do a sort of black comedy thing. But I just feel like if you're not willing to go darker, then it's also not going to be as funny.
It's not even just funny. It's just not going to be as good.
Yeah, it's just like you need the contrast. You need the really dark moments to have the really funny moments.
Yeah, exactly.
And for them to kind of work together. And if not, everything just sort of feels lukewarm, kind of a mishmash. Yeah, so overall, I feel like some of what could have been better would have been to focus more on the parts that are really bleak. And to make them feel really bleak. And that doesn't mean that, you can't have funny moments. It's just when you blend the humor and the dark moments too much, I mean, you don't really have, I feel like you have to kind of put the audience under some sort of stress so that when a laugh comes around,
they're like, oh, yay. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's just my take on it.
Oh, no, I agree 100%. I feel like there should be a lot more darker moments than there is in this. A lot of it does feel like it's just, I'm gonna make a funny at this, I'm gonna make a funny at that, when the Fallout universe is a very dark and bleak place.
Yeah, so it could have been a lot more frightening. On the other hand, I am really interested in what's going on in the vault and the mysteries that are sort of coming out of
about like her brother and all that.
Right, and about what happened in Vault 20.
Oh,
was it
132 or something like that.
Was it 132?
Yeah, because they were 133.
Okay, so they go in and they start exploring Vault 132.
And it was already desolate and broken by the time they got in there. By the time the Raiders got in there.
Right, so he starts to get the feeling that something is going on there that they don't quite understand.
Like that was one of the cool dark moments that I liked. They made it seem like everyone actually kind of themselves.
Yeah, it makes it seem like there's something much more bleak in the Fallout universe, which is good.
Even in the vaults, not just in the overworld.
Yeah, there's something going on in the vaults that we don't quite understand yet. And we have something more to learn about. I guess that's where we'll leave it for now. Did you have any final thoughts on this episode?
I'm excited for episode 5. I'm excited for more of the vault stuff because, like I said, when they got in there, it was just like desolate and already. It didn't seem like Raiders got in there before the Raiders got in there.
So it seemed like there was something going on in the vault that maybe had to do with the Raiders, but I don't know, because the Raiders
also
might have been sort of retaliating, it seems like.
Yeah. Like they did something, like they went up to the surface at one point and then
Well, the Raiders are from the surface.
That's what I'm saying. I think Vault 133 went up to the surface, stole something, tried to make Vault 132 better. I keep saying 133, sorry. 132 better, and ended up getting the wrath of the Raiders.
Maybe. It's hard to say what happened yet. That could be the case, but
very excited for episode 5, I'm not even gonna lie.
let's find out. Hopefully you'll stop back in with us to find out about that. Sorry, this episode took us a little bit longer to get out there, I guess.
Yeah, because we were busy. I was sick. I'll blame it on that. I was sick.
Well, we've had a lot going on, but
I had an audition.
I hope you guys stick with us, and you should see more of us soon.
Yeah.
Until then, smash that like button.
Comment.
Subscribe. Comment. Leave us a little... You know what? Leave us your meanest comments.
If you don't like us, that's fine. We'll heart it anyways.
That's right. We'll still give you a little heart.
Oh yes, that's what everyone wants. A little heart.
A little heart. My achy breaky heart.
All right. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's cat and wolf in the talk. It's cat and wolf talk, cat and wolf. It's a cat and wolf and they talk. And they talk.